You followed the rules, tried to play the part, smiled on the outside, but it tore you apart. They gave you the label before they asked your name. You carried the silence, and they called it shame. You thought it was you, but it never was. You were adapting to a world without pause. The system never asked what hurt, never asked what was real, only taught you to behave and to bury what you feel. But now you see the cracks in what they called whole. Now you rise from what they stole. They gave you the script before you could speak, told you to sit still even when your body screamed. Your child is not broken, they reflect in your fight, and you are the one who will turn on the light.
This isn't defiance, it's memory. This isn't dysfunction, it's a nervous system trying to survive. This isn't a phase, it's your soul saying, I was never the problem.
The system never asked what you knew, what you carried inside. But now you remember, you were never meant to hide. This is your voice, this is your truth, this is your return to the root.
You were always there, beneath the silence, beneath the stare. Not a fault, not a flaw, just a child who saw too much too soon in a world gone wrong. But now I see you, now I breathe you, and I'm ready to come back home. The diagnosis tried to define, but you were never that thin line. You were the dance, the song, the ache, that nothing scripted could ever fake.
You are not a file. You are not a failure. You are not a problem to fix. You are a memory worth returning to, a rhythm worth rebuilding, a soul worth remembering.
You were always there, I just forgot to care, for the voice beneath the rose, for the root beneath the gold. Now I hold you, now I know you, you were always whole.
Hello and welcome. I'm so excited to host this summit with over 35 plus amazing speakers. So welcome to return to the Root Summits. And we created this summit. We're going to have future summits as well. We created this because we all feel unrooted. We feel like we're floating. We feel like we're just going from day to day, in and out. So we need to find our roots, and that's what this summit is all about. So welcome. Before we get started, I do want you to feel the presence. I want you to be here in this space, not somewhere else. So I want you to take a deep breath through your nose. So through your nose, not through your mouth, but through your nose. So take a deep breath. And then through your nose, let it out. Because I have noticed over the past 2 months, that I've been breathing a lot through my mouth versus my nose. So that's really bringing presence to where you are right now, to bringing the presence to now versus yesterday or what's going to happen next. So again, one more time, if you want to take a deep breath through your nose, and through your nose, let it out. Now, what I want to do is a small experiment before I bring my first guest. Our keynote speaker doctor is here for us. I want to do an experiment. This one, I learned it about two months ago. I was at an event. They were doing this, and this was very profound when they did this activity with me, and I wanted to share that on the summit. So what I wanted to do is, now that you're already breathing, and you tried the 2 breaths through your nose in and out, I want you to take the breath that you took yesterday. Can you all take the breath that you took yesterday? Remember the one you took yesterday, right? So take that breath. Can you try? And let me know if you can take that breath from yesterday. Okay, so some of you tell me if you're taking it in the chat, because I want to know if somebody could do the breath from yesterday. And then I want you to now that you took the breath from yesterday, I want you to take the breath you will take tomorrow. So the breath that you will take tomorrow, can you take that breath? So are you able to take that breath right now? So A. Park says, took my breath yesterday. Yes, but I want you to take that same breath right now. Can you do it? No. Can you do the breath that you're going to take tomorrow right now? No, you can't. What can you take? What can you take right now? The breath you can take now is the only breath you can take. That's the only thing we have with certainty. And that's what we forgot, is to be here in presence, right? We are always thinking about our past or our future, but we're not here. We're so connected currently in this world, in this era, but we're so disconnected. I want you to think about that. We're so connected. I can reach any of you right now. I'm reaching any of you in the world right now, across the globe. But at the same time, we also feel isolated and fragmented and segmented and compartmentalized, and we are feeling lost. So why is that? Why is that? That's the question behind everything I do, everything about this summit, and everybody that's going to speak today is going to speak on that. Why are we feeling like we're lost and floating? Why are we not feeling the rootedness we had? Why are we not expressing our soul anymore? So that's the question that brought us here. So this summit is for those of you who are burned out, boxed in, and overwhelmed, because the system that we all grew up, our family system, our education system, our societal system, has rewarded us for what? Speed, compliance, performance. But they never taught us how to feel our own systems. We have systems that's running this body, but we never had any education, proper education, in-depth education on how this system works, so that we can then respond to the external systems that are demanding performance, compliance. We just do it because that's what the system demands, right? So what that does is we feel unsafe in our own skin. We never learn to feel safe in our own skin. So I want to, at the end of this 5 days journey, I want to take you through a journey so that you can come home to yourself, to your soul, to your system, which I call my system. I want to go away from this MC system, this mass controlled, mass compliant, mass compartmentalized, fast, forced standardized world that we are forced to perform in. I want to take you away from that to return to home, to my system, your systems. And that's exactly what this is. And that's where you can start living your life, leading your life, and learning in life from a holistic place, from a wholeness. And that's what's missing. That's exactly what we need. We don't need more information because the information is so free. We need to learn how our systems work so that we can receive the input, and we can then output our soul print. So welcome. I'm so excited. I want to bring our first guest. Dr. Cecilio is here for us. He made it possible. Amazing. Thank you for coming. And
Hello, hello.
because he specializes in stem cells, hormone therapy, anti-aging, and on top of it, he's on the cutting edge of creating nervous system treatments, and not only for anyone, but for kids and adults with autism, ADHD. This is outstanding when he's told me about it, because I'm a special educator, worked with many students where parents feel lost and confused. When you told me about that, I was so amazed. And he not only a doctor who treats patients, he also trains other people, other doctor. He's on the edge of leading this new way of treating things that we never thought possible. So welcome. Thank you for making the time. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for helping me live a life that I can live with, free from pain, suffering, because he has helped me as well over the last year. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you so much, and thank you everybody for being here. I'm so happy. If you look my face like I'm a little inflamed, it's because I had a lot of issues with a flight here in Mexico City. We had a big storm, and every single flight was canceled. So I'm trying to figure out and fit for a flight to Los Cabos. I live there. And yeah, it was for me very impressed about all this program and return to the roots. It's very important. I said in the word we said back to basics, but I prefer return to the roots because it's very important to understand how our body works. And when we say that, for me, it's most important. How is the structure? How's the vagus nerve? How stress can be affecting our own system, and we don't see that normally. We need to feel it to take some measures to change it. But we are suffering when we sleep bad. We are suffering and creating molecules that age us and also affect us in our normal sources that we have, like in the normal um, processing systems, that it can be your emotional system, the limbic system, your heart, your lungs, your even your gut. That's why when we have a bad experience, and when we have a bad feeling, we feel it in our belly. So everything is connected, but we cannot conduct any single process, but we can change it. We have options. We have a stimulation of the vagus nerve without needles, but that's the most precise process and the most precise treatment. But first, I will, okay, I think you are seeing the screen. And the body never lies. And this is very important because we need to start not to just hear our system or hear our body. We need to start to listen. Okay. If we listen properly, we can take measures and do preventive medicine. Preventive medicine is one of the most cheap medicine, but we don't want to be compromised and involved in a new environment. If we are thinking that we are having good habits, and it's related to the food, to your sleep health, which is very important for the vagus nerve functions. And we normally sleep very bad. We go to the bed and we take our phones and start to chat and see TikTok and see Instagram, and that is creating and overstimulating your own limbic system, because we are having this treat and regret that it's creating maybe a good emotion, but at the end we are blocking some of our hormone systems. It's very important this because people that if we are talking about kids, they are in develop, constantly develop from neural growth, but also on their organs and systems. So if we block that hormone pathways, it's gonna affect later, and the behavior develop in the in the sexual hormones. We cannot control the behavior during the day, so they are looking for constantly to change everything and have this and compensate with social media, with the light, artificial lights. The light, it plays an important role in our health. So I'm going to give you some tips that can help you. And of course, we are going to talk about the treatments, which is very important to see and know, because normally in med school, they teach us to the doctors and maybe nurses too about the vagus nerve anatomy, and it's in charge to the lung and the heart and the gut systems. But at the end of the day, it's everything is related, and everything if it's related between cell to cell, all this process has to be and going through properly. So if we are not focused in have this information, I think it's going to be a big problem. Okay, and what if you are tiredness while your body is giving you some signs and signals to that enough. Of course, we know about the burnout syndrome, and if you don't know this, it's when we are overwhelmed about the work, overwhelmed about our own roles in our social life. So this is most common that we think, and we can find it into the classroom. We can find it, and with all this pressure that we have to be the perfect person, the perfect professional, or the perfect kid, even, or in your cases, more you are moms too. So this pressure it's so annoying, and also it can affect. And if you are a woman here, it's affecting your hormones too. And if you are in this range of ages, if we are talking about 40s to 55 to 60s, we can develop other things. If you are tired, you don't sleep good, you don't eat properly, you can start to affect one of the biggest tissues and systems and organs, that is your thyroid. Okay, and of course, we drink water from a plastic bottle, we drink water from everywhere, and we have a lot of microplastics. Okay, these microplastics, they actually, I yesterday I was on big stress, and when I'm stressed, I read. Okay, and I took an scientific article that came out maybe 1 week ago, and they took 25 people that were they were dead, and they took some cuts from the brain, and they analyzed from very specific things, and they find tons of microplastics, and that can change a lot of develop. One, it can increase and doing and you have an early menopause first. For the kids, we are taking the opportunity to live longer, to have a good longevity. Okay, and for the rest of the population, in men, it can affect the sexual potency. It can affect the sexual health too. So what's going on? What can we do? What kind of habits that we can change? First, to start and read all the layers or labels that we can find in the supermarket. Of course, we don't have a lot of options, but if you take water every single day from a plastic bottle, or if you leave this plastic bottle in the car, and in the heat of the day, and melt these microplastics. Try to use one bottle and that's it. And but it can be related. It can be from different materials. Okay, if we use plastic, of course, that part of your plastic will be in your tissues and organs, and that can affect your hormones and also your sleep and of course your brain. So let's take that tip and that will be interesting. If you want to know more about this, you can follow me on Instagram and at Dr. Saucillo and I can answer everything for you. Okay. So the high speed of trap of modern life. We have this image and we are overstimulating. We have messages, we have emails, we have a schedule, and I'm part of this too because I'm always very busy. But I said yesterday, okay, I don't give anything, and I'm gonna be here in this summit because for me it's very important. And we start breathing. Okay, we don't know how to breathe. We breathe when we go to sleep and we have a big dinner. Of course, our gut is still working, and that's because the vagus nerve are overstimulating. That that's why we wake up and we feel tired. We don't have a good energy levels. We don't feel very active or proactive that during that day. So there's some measures about fasting and the things that you have for dinner, it's gonna affect during the night. Okay, if we eat a lot of sugar, of course, it's gonna be affecting. If we eat more protein, the stimulation of your gut, your heart, and your lungs will be less, and gives you the opportunity to have a good strain on your sleep pattern. So that's very important. But what happens if you have good habits, but you still not sleeping good? We have to check your hormones. Okay, always your sexual hormones, your cortisol, which is the hormone related to the stress, not always will be high in during the stress. It can be from different causes, but the most common thing will be stress. If you don't sleep good, your cortisol will increase. If you are maybe working a lot of time on your laptop or your computer, will be increasing your cortisol because everything that came from the outside and we see it on our own screen that it's our eyes convert into the brain, and into the brain we have the hypothesis, and that's a gland that creates the most common hormones, and that's precursors of the hormones that we normally use it. I'm going to give you an example. We create progesterone in women and we create testosterone, but the cost to create it came from the brain. If we uh, are overstimulated, we are creating hormones in the day or the night, and we have to be in certain levels. If we change the cycle, that will be affecting our own system. We that age us, and also that can create more disease or conditions. Okay, if we have a lot of information, I love artificial intelligence. Really love it. Okay, but remember, artificial intelligence, it's like a boyfriend or girlfriend that says, "Oh, you're the best." Okay, yes, you are the best professional, and you are the okay. You have your kid is sick. Okay, let's find some information, and that gives you, in the 90% of the cases, everything that you want to read and that you need to hear. So be careful. And when you start to use the artificial intelligence, say, okay, we need a neutral position. We need to talk about evidence. We need to see some websites that are real, because that creates artificial intelligence creates a lot of things. So be sure when you are using it. The social pressure and constant comparison, and that's very common in kids because they see the behavior of the other ones and they say, why he's never punished, and why he or she is always like calm, and I feel like very anxious. I have a lot of energy. Why can I be like that? I want to be like that because they said they compare and relate that if you have a good behavior, and I'm gonna say like this because it's a behavior, it's not a good or bad, but it's a behavior, and they want to be part of this community and this environment. So we need to change that, and it's a big pressure for the kids, and of course, as you as a coaches, it's a big pressure for you too. Okay, and education on emotional regulation. How can we regulate the emotion? I love the way that you start, Kohila. That breathing is very important, and before you go to work or before to take your cell phone, try to breathe at least. If you are not a patient person, we can try 30 seconds, 45 seconds, and we can do it as a habit 21 days. And after 21 days, you will forget the way that you were breathing, because we normally breathe from the mouth when we are sleeping. So that creates dryness on your mouth, that creates a not good I'm saying you have a good breathing but not a good oxygenation. That's very different. Breathing, it's the action to take your breath and go to the lungs, and oxygenation is the interchange from CO2 to O2. That's oxygen, and that process happens into the alveolum. That's a small part of the lung, and that creates the shunt. Okay, so if we don't oxygenate, maybe you will have a headache in the morning. Maybe you will feel irritated. You will be tired. You will not be sexual active for sure because you were tired. The oxygenation and your blood and the blood flow will be less, and your hormones will be affected too. So let's start from there. Maybe we don't need to do like the fancy treatments for vagus nerve stimulations or stem cells, but that's a good step. And that's why we do in the clinic when we treat people for with vagus nerve injections, we give you some exercise to start and do a maintenance of the treatment and improve the results too. And the culture of extreme productivity, I'm guilty too, because I love to be proactive and have a good production, but sometimes we have to take a break and turn off our cell phones and say, let's breathe again, and let's make a better strategy, and let's make a plan. Plans are important, but it's only a guide, and we normally feel frustrated when we don't get that result. So let's give us a break. For me, it's that very important. And I said to the doctors that I train, but also to people, it's massive because we are not conscious about that. We say it frequently, and we say it in the seminars, and we say it everywhere, and when we are on stage, but to do the practice, it's more difficult. Now, there's two different brains. One is survival mode, and the other one is learning mode. When we are saying survival mode, it's the action. If you feel thirsty, you take a sip of water. You go to sleep a certain time. You wake up. But learning mode, and learning mode, it is different. And if you are listening here in the summit presentation, you are taking some tips to apply to your kids, to apply to your students, to apply to every single person who is around you or it's part of your environment. So if we understand that, that's a big difference with the animals. They're in survival mode always. They want to eat, they want to procreate, and they are gonna die. That's the most important thing, and they don't want to be eaten from other animals. So here in the learning mode, we have to develop. But for me, the most important, because the books and the scientific articles says, learning mode is to process an idea to create something new. But I'm gonna add something new here, okay? And it's to share the knowledge, to share something to the community. And that's it for me, the last step in the process of the learning mode. If we have knowledge and if we have ideas, but we don't share it, we are not having this close. We don't close the circle. For me, it's very important, and I think it's going to be very useful for you too. The nervous system, it's a mirror of our own system, and I'm talking about your lungs, your heart, your gut, your skin, your emotions, your hair, your sexual activity, and the most common things that we can see in our patients on the normal people. We are asking always, oh, how do you feel? And we said, oh, I feel tired. And what would be the way to fix it? Oh, you should sleep more. Or I'm in pain. Okay, take a painkiller. Oh, I have nausea. Okay, let's try medication. So normally, I remember I'm a black sheep all everywhere. Okay, I'll go to the conference and they said, oh, here's Dr. Saucillo, because I question everything and I argue everything. And this started when I was in med school, because one of my biggest concerns was okay, I'm a doctor, but I feel like a robot, because in they told me like, okay, we have I don't know, maybe a flu. Okay, you need to prescribe this medication. And you have arthritis. Okay, you need to prescribe this medication. But at the end of the day, we only can cure a few things. For cancer, we use some chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and we can cure a small percentage of people. Okay? And we have an infection, we have the antibiotics, and we can cure a small percentage of people too. And for me, that was the only two medications. The other one, in Spanish, we said tratamiento. Okay? Tratamiento, if we split the word, it's tratar, it's treat. Okay? And miento, it's I'm lying. Okay? So I'm trying to lie. I'm lying to the patients that I'm gonna cure them. So that's why my argument, and they said, oh, you are so weird. Why do you don't follow this? And that's it. And I said, no, I want to find something that it's important and we can offer to the patients, and they can have the opportunity to say, okay, I have options. If we don't have options in our lives, we don't have anything. If we have only one option, it's so sad, because you are condemned to die maybe, or to follow the same things that we start to treat in maybe 30 years ago or maybe 20. We have options here, and we have options for you. One of the most common things that we can find in our patients, or people in general, people, we can maybe feel chronic fatigue. We feel tired every single day. Our immune system are always unbalanced, and it is changing because we go into the plains. We are in places there is a lot of people. Imagine the millions of processes that we are living, and we don't see that because it's the tiny particles that we can find in our system. But when we are talking like between people to people, we are interchange fluids because in our saliva, okay, and that's we have a warriors in our system to fight with that different microorganisms that we interchange. The muscle pain and tension, and the normally say the doctors say, okay, that's because your age. But why? If we are aging, everything it has to pain, because we are not having good habits. If we change the habits, you can change everything. The hormonal imbalance, 75% of our patients, and I'm talking about in the world, that are in this age of perimenopause or menopause, they have a prescription for antidepressive medications, and maybe one, two, or three medications, and they don't see the hormones. They don't measure the hormones. So be careful before to think that you are in depression or anxiety, or you feel like very overwhelmed about your life. Let's see how's your hormones, because that can be helping a lot. Okay, the panic attacks, it's part, and it's not a fashion thing. There exists, but not always it's panic attacks. Sometimes we are have anxiety. Sometimes we have this sense we don't feel anything about any emotion. So we need to study this. And the cognitive poor concentration, because we have a lot of distractions here. Okay, we have screens, we have a lot of options, and options are good, but when we have a lot, we are getting confused very easy. And lots of creativity, and creativity, it's one of the must. We have the option to dream. Okay, and we are killing that option with artificial intelligence for everything. We ask, okay, can you do me maybe a list of groceries for the supermarket, or let's make a schedule for my trip in Europe or in the States. So it's turning a little bit difficult because we are killing our creativity and, of course, our dreams. And now, I said deep breathing, it's very important. Okay, mindfulness, it's the most important thing for me. I feel guilty because when I go to mindfulness and I said, okay, I'm gonna try it, but I start, okay, you have to work with this, you have this pendant, and it's very difficult, but it's not impossible. We have to develop the habit to do it. If you don't do it in the same in the first session, who cares? It's not a big deal. You try it, okay? So, but we have the option, and the sleep. Lights out first. If you are going to use some light, my recommendation will be an infrared light panel, which is a small thing, and that will help to with the temperature for sure. Second, that will help with inflammation of your system, your skin, your tissues, your organs, and of course your joints. Okay. When we sleep, we normally go from this or this side. That can be affecting a lot of things. Okay, one, your beauty, because that can squeeze your face and create your wrinkles. But if you don't care that, it's okay. But my recommendation will be try to sleep on the left side. Okay, not the right one, not the right side. The left side will be easy because we give the opportunity to the our blood system to return the not oxygenated blood properly to the lungs and oxygenate during the night. Otherwise, from the right side, we pressure the aorta and the cava vein, and that affect our sleep pattern. So that will be a small tip. We said about pillows. Pillows. Try to use one that helps, of course, with your neck. If we use more, that can be affecting your neck. And if you have the option to use a pillow between your legs, that will help to make it more comfortable your knees. The body never lies. And that's very important. We have to listen. It's about to restore and reset our system, our vagus system, our nervous system. Because if we always go to directly to the medications, that would be a big problem always. Because we are fixing something, but we are affecting other ones. This body that you have right now, we have to take care more properly. It's the only option. I've been through everything: diets, exercise, weird exercise, restrictive diets, medications. I tried everything for patients, for me, and the only thing that I can say today, we have three bases. One will be sleep, that will be stimulate your immunological system for a positive reactions. Exercise, and now you are not going to be a bodybuilder, and me neither. I don't like that. But if we move, you can go to the bathroom properly to poop. Why not? That's very important. And that's part of your health too. And you are going to be stimulate your autonomous system, which is part of the vagus nerve. Okay. And also the other one, create community. And for me, it's very important. And when I do my presentations to people from the north of Europe, the States and Canada, they are like, they create like a little bit conflict because I said you need to visit your dad and your mom more frequently. You need to create connections with your kids, with your husband or your wife. It's not only to have a small time on maybe on weekends. I know it's very difficult because we have a schedule and we have times and we have meetings, but let's try and touch each other's. We need to hug. We need to kiss people because one of the hallmarks of anti-aging is community, and the only way to create it is to practice them. If you practice the community and if you talk and listen about different ideas and be receptive for everything, that will help you with your vagus nerve for sure. That will help you with your community. That will help you with your mass muscle. And that will help you if you want with your beauty. That I'm sure of that. Okay. So about the treatments, it's very simple. We have different ways to do it. The simulation of your vagus nerve, we have some medical devices that we put here and send some electromagnetic waves, and that stimulate. Is that enough? Yeah, but we have to use it daily, and it's a little bit tired. Okay, and the option here we have vagus nerve injections. We use an ultrasound. We go here in the neck with small needle. We see the vagus nerve, and we combine it with some molecules. One of them is exosomes, and the exosomes are a small molecule that we find into the stem cell, and that create a communication, as we are having here in this summit, between cell to cell. It's very simple to explain. Imagine you have a nervous cell here, and the nerve and your cells are like tired, sleepy, and they don't want to perform and work properly. The exosomes came and knock your door and say, "Hey, you need to work. I'm here to help you, but please wake up." And that make a big. We are talking about billions of exosomes, and that can create new signals, and that helps to activate your vagus nerve. That's one of the products. The other one are peptides. Peptides are small chains of amino acids, and that creates new proteins. Okay, and we deliver in the injection tube, and of course with the needle we touch the nerve in the around the center of the nerve, and we stimulate with some energy. Okay, after that we do it in 2 days. We do one side one day, one side the other day, and after that you will start to feel after 4 to 5 days all this improvement for at least 1 year. Okay, but if you change your habits, you can do it for more time. So I don't know if you have questions. I would love to
Oh
see.
yeah.
And I don't know if you have any questions for Hila. I would love
Yeah.
it.
If
You know
anyone has
everything
it,
about me.
yeah, I
You know
do.
everything about me.
If anybody in the audience have any questions, please post it here in the comment. But I just wanted to really touch on a few things you said. Everything you shared with us today, apart from what you told us about what we can do with the vagus nerve and the injection, which I think you're the best doctor. I've never felt any injections you've ever put into my body. You're so smooth and so peaceful when you do it. So I never felt it. So, but apart from that, but sleep, you said sleep, deep breathing, mindfulness. You gave us things that we already can do and we were born to do. but we just got into the busyness that we're not doing it properly anymore. So you gave us back what we can do so peacefully in our own world already. Do it properly,
And
right?
it's
So that was,
it's free, and it's free.
it's free. Yes, love it, love it, love it. And you said, you know, why I became a big fan of working with you is because of the way you said you question everything. You know, in the system that we grew up, when I was young, I also questioned everything. I say why, but then whenever I said why, I sounded like those stupid ones. So I quieted my voice and I muted myself, thinking that I was the one who's stupid. But
And we turn off our voices.
yes,
Right now we can speak,
yes,
but we don't speak loud. And we need
yes,
to speak loud. If we don't
yes.
speak loud, nobody's gonna hear it. That's why I love the things that you do here. You and the team, and of course, and all the attendants here, because it's very important to speak loud and speak from the heart and speak from the brain and speak from the science and our systems too.
Yes, absolutely. There's a question from Andrea. It says,
Yeah,
what's your
sure.
favorite vagus nerve exercise we can do at home?
Very simple. Take your hands like this and dance. No, I'm joking.
Okay, I was going to do it.
Dance is a good thing too, but you can take your head like this, okay? Try to put your like this, that like a frame, okay? And go down and turn like this and start with your thumbs massaging this area. You will find like a hole and try to go up like this,
Hmm.
okay? And there's the vacuum. Do it for 5 minutes. And if you have a monitor, you will see your heart rate will be down, okay? You will feel after this more relaxed, more clear. Protect decisions because we live every single day taking decisions. If you go to decide, if you go to the supermarket, if you have to follow your schedule, if you want to rest, so that will help you. And you feel stressed. Maybe you are in the airport and you want to turn into a Karen like me yesterday. For me, it's very funny to see that videos on TikTok. For me, I said, "Oh my god!" But now I'm joking. But I said, "Okay, I'm going to relax." There's a big number of people there, and I started to do it. And I said, "Okay, let's go to the hotel. Let's buy another ticket. It's not a big deal. I'm gonna be in Cabo soon, and that's it." That helps with your decisions every single day.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for making it work. I know you had a bad day last night, but you made it work and your vagus nerve is relaxed and you're having a good day. We'll see you back. Thank you for being here.
My
Really, really
pleasure.
appreciate it.
I
Thank you.
love to be part of this family too.
Yes, and we have all your links that they could connect with you and talk to you and take it from there. Thank you so much.
Everything. Please do these exercises, and if you have any specific question, please text me directly. You can have my number if you want to.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Cecilio.
Take care.
Awesome.
Bye
We're going to
bye.
next guest. Our next guest is Molly. So before that, we have her presentation. I'll add Molly here. Hi, Molly. Welcome.
Welcome. Oh, great. Welcome. Good morning.
Yes, we went a little over, but I wanted to make sure we get the exercise. That was a good question Andrea asked. We got a great exercise.
And it's great because I have one too. I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. This is going to just fit so well.
Wow, it's in alignment. So I have a presentation to introduce Molly. Molly is a coach. Coach Molly is amazing. She stands for lifelong learning. I've never met anyone like Molly who stands for lifelong learning for herself and for others and her students. She just loves and gives from her heart. And she's also, should I change? She stands for healing nervous system first. She's not about, how we push content and learn more and learn more and learn more content and information. She's not that. She wants to get your nervous system ready before that she teaches or coaches anything. So it's amazing. And the next slide. She trades quick fixes for rooted solution. There's no quick fixes, right, Molly? Is there?
There's no quick fixes.
No. And she's going to talk about that, and I'm excited to find
Mhm.
out about that. And the next one, she sees depression as a not as a weakness, but as what? And that's exactly what her presentation is about. And I'm excited to find out. Molly, please share with us. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, everyone. And for those watching the replay, thank you, because I know you are here looking and wanting more. And I know this week is going to give you that. So I'm not here to fix anything, to teach you really anything. And I'm not here to share you this big sob story or anything. I'm really just here to share with you what I've lived, what I've learned, and I hope you feel connected and heard by some of this. So I want you to know that shutdown doesn't always look like falling apart. Sometimes it's actually smiling through pain. It's smiling through this mask of happiness. And sometimes it's literally curling up on the closet floor or locking yourself in the bathroom where no one can see you. And I'd love to know if that hits a nerve with anyone, if that resonates with any of you, if you have felt shut down and your lights actually dim. So my lights dimmed when my parents divorced when I was 12. And I was one of 4 siblings. I have an older brother and sister. My brother passed away this last fall. And my younger sister is 8 years younger. So I went from the baby of the family to a middle child. And then when my parents divorced, my older brother and sister went to go live with my dad. So it split the family right in half. And I actually became like the eldest sibling. So my mom remarried fairly quickly, and that's when abuse started through the form of control, manipulation, narcissistic behavior, and even some sexual abuse. But we looked great from the outside. Anybody looking in people would comment on how nice my mom and stepdad were. And that led me to feeling really guilty at the thoughts that I had because I didn't feel the same way. And I kept wondering what was wrong with me. And I have a real peacemaker personality. My goal was to make others happy, not rock the boat. So going through all this, I literally froze. That was my method of operation. That was my survival technique, was to freeze. I wasn't really allowed to be angry. During high school, what I did to survive was just throw myself into activities. All the activities that I was allowed to do, could do, I threw myself in because that meant less time having to be at home. And when I went to college, which was an incredibly happy day, I thought, wow, I could leave all this behind. But you and I know that behaviors that have formed, behaviors, patterns that are entrenched are going to stay there until we change them. So I went through college, I did really well, but I developed an eating disorder and I had an ulcer. So I had difficulty making decisions. I had a hard time saying no to things because I wasn't taught boundaries. And I got married and I thought I could live within the confines of what was expected to me in my marriage. And after a couple years, cracks really formed and we got divorced. And it was a real rocky time for a few years. I went through counseling. I was depressed. I even had a suicide attempt, but all the while holding down my job and looking very happy because that's how I survived. I eventually met my current husband, and I'm excited to share that we've been married for almost 30 years. This September will be 30 years, and we have 2 adult children. But as my kids were growing up, I just felt a lot of stress. I felt a lot of judgment. I was in a lot of fear because I just kept wondering what shoe was going to drop, what was going to happen, how was I going to fail, what was I going to screw up. And yet people always perceive me as being happy, but on the inside, I just felt like this frightened little girl. And in dark times, I would lock the bathroom door or go curl up on the floor in the closet. I ended up going on antidepressants and going through counseling, and it was helpful, but I kept feeling like things weren't connecting, like there were dots missing or a puzzle piece missing. And I am thrilled to share with you now that I feel like those puzzle pieces, it's there, it's connected, the dots have connected, and I'm actually off my antidepressants, and it's like, oh my gosh. And I want you to think of a time that maybe you felt like the lights were dimming, that you had those dark times. And I've realized that these are the systems that have collapsed, that had collapsed, that I have now been able to heal. So my nervous system, I was always in some sort of flight or freeze mode. I was not a good fighter. That was not my MO. So I was into freezing or fleeing. Okay. And I finally realized that a couple years ago, and it was just amazing. All of a sudden, I could just feel this weight come off of going, oh my gosh, wow, I had no idea I was stuck in that. My emotional system, the suppression of feelings, and then outbursts followed by a lot of guilt and shame. My hormonal system was dysregulated because I ended up having a lot of fibroids and a hysterectomy. My sensory system was so on overload and shut down when I could literally curl up on the closet floor or lock myself in the bathroom. My belief system, just constant shame about my past and negative self-talk that reflected in weight issues. And I could just go up and down and just had a lot of food issues that I hid really well. My executive system, avoiding confrontation like the plague. Anything I was scared of, I would run or try and have somebody else do it or not do it at all. So I want to know if that resonates with any of you, if you recognize any of those patterns in yourself. So there's a lot of things as a coach, a lot of tools that I've developed that I've been taught that have helped me move from shutdown to safety. Things like talking to my brain, learning to talk to my brain, breathing exercises, tapping, energy reset, sound therapy, vagus nerve reset. This has helped me understand why I shut down. And when I understood the why and recognized the patterns, I could release and retrain my brain. And so getting off my antidepressants was huge, and actually staying off them. Even this last week, I look at things that happen and I go, wow, I handled that so differently than I would have a couple years ago or even a year ago. So learning these tools was actually my doorway back. And it can be your doorway back. It's always available for you. What I thought was weakness was actually my nervous system protecting me the best way it knew how. What if this is true for you? What if this is true for your child? So these are things that I feel like I've learned the hard way. And I wish it didn't take so long because I'm 63 now. But I'm so thankful to be able to share these things now with you and with my clients so that hopefully you can learn these tools sooner and implement them sooner. So we are going to try a vagus nerve set together. And I know we just did one with our previous speaker, but this one's different. And I love having different ones. And there's so many different ways to help reset your vagus nerve. And I'll tell you, a really fun one is just laughing. Anytime you can put on a funny show, laugh at whatever it is. Laughing is, they say laughter is the best medicine. Laughter is a great one for your vagus nerve as well. So getting your kids to laugh and being outside. But your vagus nerve is actually the longest nerve in your body. And of course, it comes down from your brain through, your nerve cord, and it connects to every organ in your body, which is just amazing, because that's what it does. And your vagus nerve, sometimes I liken it to rush hour traffic. I live in the Seattle area, so I know what rush hour traffic is, and I'm sure you do too. It's like you just can't get anywhere and you're stuck and things move very slowly. And this is what happens when our vagus nerve is on overload, okay? And what we want our vagus nerve to do is run freely, where you can just zoom 60 miles an hour down the freeway and you're like, whoo, this is great. Okay. So a really simple technique is to sit up nice and tall. You can actually do this on the floor. You can do this laying in bed. You can do this at a stoplight. I have my students do it together in my classroom, which is great. It's such a good way to start the class. So you want to take your hands and put them behind your neck. And again, just take a nice deep breath in and exhale. And you want to move your eyeballs to the left. And just move your eyeballs to the left. And you'll feel yourself take a deep sigh or a deep breath. And as you practice this, it'll happen quicker, okay? And then you're going to move your eyeballs forward once you feel like you've taken that nice deep breath, and then move your eyeballs to the right. And again, you'll feel yourself take that nice deep breath, and you'll move your eyeballs back and just take your hands out. And you're like, oh, just that relaxing feeling. And again, the more you practice it, the easier it gets. And I want you to know there's so many things, again, that you can do. That's just a real simple one. As I mentioned, laughter, getting little kids to wave their hands and actually windmill up in the air is another really good one with kids, okay? So these things are really simple to do. And how easy is that, right? It doesn't have to be complicated. So I want you to know that maybe you're feeling stuck and feeling just depressed or shut down, but I want you to know you're not broken. You may just be a little burned out. And that shutdown is protection. It's not failure. So what if your child, as you're looking at your child, isn't giving up, but actually sending you a message? What if their procrastination, their avoidance, their eye rolls, their attitude, their tummy aches aren't giving up, but actually a sign of system collapse? So these are samples that I've seen in my clients: procrastination, avoidance, stomach aches, headaches, migraines, arguing, yelling, bulimia, anorexia, embellishing stories. What if we learned that these are signals and we actually get to the root cause and give them tools to help bring them back? And I'm going to encourage you to give your child one safety signal this week to actually look beyond that yelling, that avoidance, that procrastination, and give them a pause to actually respond instead of react, to give them a soft eye, a soft voice, to do a vagus nerve reset with them, to do some laughter. You don't need to change your whole life. You don't need to wave the magic wand. As I said, there are no quick fixes here. You just need to recognize one signal and respond with softness. It's not fixing, it's rerouting. And what I know now is that there's a system out of place when a child shuts down, or when I shut down, or when you shut down. And there are simple tools that we can use to bring us out of that shutdown, out of that overwhelm, and being back to grounded and connected. These are tools that work for all ages. It doesn't matter if you're 3 or if you're 103. Okay? And these are not band-aids, but they actually get to the root and actually heal, because we're retraining our brain. Can you imagine giving your child the tools they need to be the happy, confident learners they deserve to be? Because it's not about fixing, it's about rerouting. And again, I want to remind you that you're not broken. You're burned out. I was. The lights can return. And collapse is not the end, but actually the threshold of return. Because your light and your child's light deserves to burn brightly. And I've developed an actual ebook or a PDF on depression busters. And so you can, I'm really excited to share this, because it was like, these were things that helped me so much. And I just wanted to share those with you. So you can go to my website at www.mollyhurd.com. I was so excited to get my own name there, and actually download my ebook. And you can connect with me through my website as well.
I love it, Molly. Molly, first of all, I want to thank you for sharing and opening up and being vulnerable. You really made us feel like you trusted the space. So thank you so much for that. So I want to ask anyone watching, the audience, if they have any questions for Molly while I talk to her. We do have a journal, and I listed some questions that you can reflect from what she has shared. So one thing that stood out to me for someone who also suffered many of the stuff that you shared today is the fact that we have to pretend to the world that we're okay. And we need to stop doing that. I mean, we need to stop doing that. Because there's no way that anyone can help anyone else by pretending. Pretending is not it's just a false security, right? It didn't help me or you, because I ended up also trying to kill myself, and you tried too. And we need to model that to our young generation, because a lot of them right currently, with the current how we live and how we act and how we doing things, they may be at that place as well, silently.
Absolutely.
Share with me.
Absolutely. It was just interesting. Yesterday, I was doing a hike and I met a gal at the top of this mountain, and we started talking, and I could tell just from her voice what she was sharing with me, that she had been through some depression and was going through some depression. And I just looked at her and I said, don't let your light go out. You are on the right path. And she just looked at me and she just teared up. And it was just a moment where you can recognize and uplift somebody instead of tearing them down.
Yeah, we need to listen, and we need to read the signals they're giving us. Like you talked about signals to parents, to read them, and sometimes we're all busy, right? But the signals are they need to be. You need to observe them and really pick up on that. So thank you, Molly. Thank you so much for being here. There is a question: what is a signal that I should watch out for in myself when I'm feeling sad?
Oh, that's a good one. For me, when I am feeling sad, one of the things I do is, in terms of talking with my brain, is I just go, Molly, why are you feeling sad? I connect with myself. And I've learned to go, what is it that I need? Why am I feeling sad? And to not feel guilty for feeling sad, and to not feel ashamed for feeling sad. I think sometimes we're taught to feel ashamed to feel sad and depressed. And it's like, oh no, sadness is an emotion that we are given. And so we need to be okay with that. And then once you are like, okay, I am feeling sad. That's okay. So why am I feeling sad? And look at that and listen to yourself. And then you can go, oh, okay. And figure out, and move on.
Absolutely. So in the workbook of the journal, I provided so many prompts to look at how Molly has presented some of her wisdom here. There's a lot coming at you guys, so make sure to look at that journal and make sure to go back and write it. And also, I will provide Molly's link as well, and you should grab that buster. What was it called? Depression Buster?
Depression Busters.
Okay, awesome. Busters.
Fun, kind of something fun, but also dealing with something that's very real, and honest. And it's hard because I'm really fun loving by nature. I love to have fun. I love to laugh. I love to smile. And I'm really thankful because that carried me through. Right. But also it's like, wow, underneath there is some issues there. So if we can learn to deal with those in real simple ways and acknowledge it, then we're going to be able to change our brain patterns and move forward. Because that's what you have taught us. It's really about changing those brain patterns. That comes back to rerouting, regrounding, connecting.
Yes, and you've shared amazing exercises for that as well. So I want to come back to that statement I started when you came in. Molly, you're a lifelong learner. I don't think I've ever met anyone like you. Like, you just love learning, and you want that for your students and the people that you work with. But why you stand and believe for that is that you want a safety and trust to come first before performance, because we so push the performance, we're so driven by that, but we forget the safety and connection. I love it.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Because I've watched anxiety just go through the roof in my students. That it's like, whoa, that is one of the big reasons why I became a coach. And I was so thankful to connect with you, because I'm like, there has got to be something more we can do here. This is a pandemic here.
Thank you. Yes, we got to do something, and we're doing something about it. This is not about blaming anybody or anyone or anything. This is just doing something about it, and we can do it beautifully without blaming anyone, because blame doesn't do anything then other than divert all the attention to somewhere else. But if we can divert everything back to us, then we can do something about it. So thank you, Molly, for what you do. Thank you for being a great coach. We will see you in the next session. Thank you.